Welcome back. We started solving this question in the previous video and we solved the first three parts. In this video, we will solve the two remaining parts. So we will begin with BIII, which says that we should draw the image triangle P prime prime, Q prime prime, R prime prime of triangle PQR under a translation by a vector -2, 4. Where P maps to P prime prime, Q maps to Q prime prime, and R maps to R prime prime. So we are going to translate the triangle PQR using the translation vector -2, 4 to get the image triangle P prime prime, Q prime prime, R prime prime. So we will use the translation vector -2, 4 to translate the point P to get P prime prime. Then we use that same translation vector to translate the point Q to get Q prime prime. Then we do the same thing to the point R to get R prime prime. So let's start. The points we are going to translate are point P with coordinates 4, 8, point Q with coordinates 6, 6, and point R with coordinates 2, 4. In the videos on translation of a point in the XY plane, we learned that when a point is translated in the XY plane, to get the image, we will add the point to the translation vector. So let's start with the point P. The point P has the coordinates 4, 8. To get the image of P, which is P prime prime, we will add the point P to the translation vector. So P prime prime, which is the image of P, will be equal to, the coordinates of P are 4, 8. So when you write it in the vector form, the S component will be 4 and the Y component will be 8. Then we will add that to the translation vector, which is -2, 4. So we have 4, 8 plus -2, 4. 4 plus -2 will give us 4 minus 2, which is 2. 8 plus 4 will give us 12. So P prime prime will have the coordinates 2, 12. So point P with coordinates 4, 8 will give us P prime prime with coordinates 2, 12. Let's move on to the point Q. The point Q has the coordinates 6, 6. So the image of Q, which is Q prime prime, will be equal to the point Q that has the coordinates 6, 6 plus the translation vector, which is -2, 4. 6 plus -2 will give us 4. 6 plus 4 will give us 10. So Q prime prime will have the coordinates 4, 10. So Q with coordinates 6, 6 will give us Q prime prime with coordinates 4, 10. Let's move on to R. R has the coordinates 2, 4. The image of R, which is R prime prime, will be equal to the point R, 2, 4 plus the translation vector -2, 4. 2 plus -2 will give us 2 minus 2, which is 0. 4 plus 4 will give us 8. So the coordinates of R prime prime will be 0, 8. So the point R with coordinates 2, 4 will give us R prime prime with coordinates 0, 8. We now have the coordinates of the point P prime prime, the coordinates of the point Q prime prime, and the coordinates of the point R prime prime. So we can draw the image triangle P prime prime, Q prime prime, and R prime prime. These are the coordinates of P prime prime, Q prime prime, and R prime prime. The coordinates of P prime prime are 2, 12. So 2 on the x-axis and 12 on the y-axis. That will be here. The coordinates of Q prime prime are 4, 10. So 4 on the x-axis, 10 on the y-axis. That will be here. And the coordinates of R prime prime are 0, 8. So 0 on the x-axis and 8 on the y-axis. That will be here. You join these points to form the triangle P prime prime, Q prime prime, R prime prime. This is point P prime prime and it has the coordinates 2, 12. This is point Q prime prime, it has the coordinates 4, 10. and this is point r prime prime. It has the coordinates 0, 8. We are done with the fourth part of our question. Let's move on to the last part. The last part says that we should find the magnitude of the vector r prime prime, and we should leave our answer in said form. So we are going to find the magnitude of the vector r prime prime, and we will leave our answer in said form. In the videos on vectors, we learned how to find the magnitude of a vector. Before we can find the magnitude of a vector, we first have to find the vector. And to find the vector, we will need the coordinates of the point r and the coordinates of the point r prime prime. These are the coordinates of the points p, q, r. And these are the coordinates of the points p prime prime, q prime prime, r prime prime. From here, we can get the coordinates of the point r and the coordinates of the point r prime prime. The coordinates of the point r are 2, 4, and the coordinates of the point r prime prime are 0, 8. We now have the coordinates of the 2 points forming the vector. So we have the coordinates of r to be 2, 4, and the coordinates of r prime prime to be 0, 8. We can now find the vector. Then after that, we will find the magnitude of the vector. The vector r prime prime will be equal to the position vector of the point r prime prime, which is written as the vector o r prime prime, minus the position vector of the point r, which is written as the vector o r. The components of the vector o r prime prime will be the same as the coordinates of the point r prime prime, and the components of the vector o r will be the same as the coordinates of the point r. So the vector r prime prime will be equal to 0, 8, which are the components of the vector o r prime prime, which is the same as the coordinates of the point r prime prime, minus 2, 4, which are the components of the vector o r, which is the same as the coordinates of the point r. 0 minus 2 will give us minus 2. 8 minus 4 will give us 4. So the vector r prime prime has the components minus 2, 4. We have now found the vector r prime prime, so we can find the magnitude of the vector. The magnitude of the vector r prime prime is equal to square root of the square of the s component. The s component is minus 2. So because it's a negative number, you put it in a bracket. So minus 2 squared plus the square of the y component. The y component is 4. So we have 4 squared. So the magnitude of the vector r prime prime will be equal to square root of negative 2 squared plus 4 squared. When you do this on the calculator, you are going to have 2 root 5. Remember, the question said we should leave our answer in said form, so we are not going to approximate 2 root 5. So the magnitude of the vector r prime prime is equal to 2 root 5 units. Once again, you can see from here that what we are doing involves vectors. We learned how to do all these things in the videos on vectors. So if you want to learn more, I would advise that you go and watch the videos on vectors which are available on this channel. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to this channel for more videos. We have come to the end of the videos on rigid motion and transformation. I hope you understood everything that we learned in this topic. Pick more examples and try your hands on them. If you have a difficulty solving any of the questions that you try your hands on, share it on any of our social media handles and we will respond to it. Bye-bye.